Hi, this is Marie O'Donnell from Tipperary County Council. I'm here in Cashel with my father John O'Byrne, and he's going to go through a tutorial with you with regards growing your own vegetables.
Hello, I'd like to show you how to grow a potato. At this time of year it is late for the early potato, that would be the British Queen. But the spot I'm going to show you now that can be sat would be a late harvester, and that would be a golden wonder. And it's a very simple process. All you've got to do is to dig a trench, make sure it's about 5 inches deep. Put in farmyard manure and then get your potato. Put your potato about 16 inches apart, like that, and so on. And when you have that done then, you close in, but remember you must have a marker here, because between that stick and that stick has to be 26 inches. And the next trench that you will dig will be outside it, in other words along there. So that gives you that distance for earthing your potatoes later on in the year. Now I hope you understand what I'm at there. Now what you do then is you just cover your potato like that. And all that is done. And then, as I said, you should have a stick here for a measurement. So we'll just do it this way before you start. Have that there. So that when you dig your next drill going in that direction, you start here. And that is the space between you and the potato. Each potato, as I said, should be 14 to 16 inches apart. Now to me, this is the most important implement in the garden. It's a 3-edged hoe. You have 3 sides to it. It's very handy, and to give you an indication, when you set early potatoes, you will see here now in a minute, there's a potato there. But the biggest danger with early potatoes such as the British Queen, you get frost. And when you get frost and they're up, they will actually burn and to set back your potato, and it could possibly destroy your crop. So what you do is you get your hoe and just bring the clay over it like that. Just simply like that. That's set from the frost in. And watch it then, that'll come up again, and watch the frost when it is gone, and you should be safe. Now while I'm here, these are tomato plants. There's 2 different varieties. They're simple to grow. Moisture is very important to the tomato plant. And when you're watering, if you water at 10 o'clock in the morning, then you water again the morning after at 10. Don't vary the watering and start at 10 one morning and come along another day and leave it to 6 o'clock. It's amazing, but plants like to have the watering around the same time, whatever time you decide it's to happen. Now, as you can see here, I have cabbage. There's 2 different varieties. That's Savoy, and the one on this side is a winter cabbage. It's a spring cabbage. It's greyhound, and the name greyhound means that it grows fairly quickly. Now after saying all that, the easiest way to do is to get your seed. You see the pot that I'm holding in my hand? You fill that with compost, and you drop 2 or 3 seed about 1/4 of an inch deep into each of those pockets. As you can see, what happens, that was in glass. They're there about 2 weeks, and this is what I've got. In another week I will take those, separate them, and I put them singly into pots of this side. A nice bit of compost, centre it, and then you put it back into the glass house. Leave it for about 3 weeks, and you'll find that it will grow fairly rapid. When it gets to about that height, take it out and weather it. Now I have a system of weathering here, if you'd like to see it. This is the frame that I know is known as the weather frame, and I leave them there, and it gets the natural weather to it. It's out of glass house, and it gets hard enough there, and when it's strong enough, and when you're ready, you can leave it be. Put it straight into the ground out of your pot, and it will not stunt the growth. And you'll find you have the finest of, we say that's the vine now, you'll have the finest of cabbage for the winter. You'll probably be eating that in another 7-8 weeks. Now after saying that, while I'm here in this little area here, this is the herb garden. I want to show you something. This is a pot that I have in it is parsley, one of the most nicest of herbs, and is widely used everywhere. This particular type of herb is Italian parsley. It's a broadleaf. So I put that in 2 weeks ago, and this is what I've got at present. To do it properly, you've got to put in your seed about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch in depth. Just throw it over, keep it moist. If you can at all, try and put a bit of glass or something over it if you don't have a glass house to keep it warm. And once they start to come, you're in business. I will take those out now in the next week. I will transfer them into a pot the same as that. I'll put 2 or 3 of them into it, each pot. And in a few months, I'll show you the product it will be. It's the broadleaf Italian parsley. And this parsley is the seed that I sown this time last year. And this is what I've got now in relation to it. As you can see also, off of this parsley, next year's parsley that I will sow will be the seed from this parsley. So it's ongoing. Now as you can see, this is lettuce of last year. I kept this particular head because on it you'll find are the seeds for next year. Now I'll show you how we grow this. It's very simple. Now as I was saying, lettuce. This is the particular lettuce that I showed you there a second ago. That is seed that was put in about 5 weeks ago. And as you can see how well it has come on. But the greatest enemy to it when it's young are slugs. So you've got to protect against slugs, and I will show you a way of protecting in a few minutes. But to start off, you get your seed. Again, you press it down, just sprinkle your seed. You don't need a lot, just sprinkle your seed there and put about 1/4 inch of peat moss over it. Make sure then when you're that done it's moist and it's kept water. Don't let the compost go dry. Again, put it into a glass house, or even if you like, put it on the kitchen window where the sun gets to it and the heat is getting to it, and you'll find very quickly they will appear. And when they do appear, leave them up to about that height, and then you transfer them from there straight into the ground. Now as I said, their greatest enemy are slugs, but I would advise people when they come to controlling slugs not to use slug talk, as it is very harmful to birds and to the nature around it. I'll give you one example. Everything you see here is organically grown. I don't use any chemical of any sort. Also, as I made reference there a few moments ago about slugs as your worst enemy in the garden, the way I protect my plants and young seedlings that I put in when they start to come is that I put a protective covering over it. And what I usually use are things like this. You'll find them thrown around, right? Now you can see underneath this, these are wallflowers. Now these wallflowers will be in full bloom this time next year. In there I have about 800 wallflowers, and that's my way of protecting without using slug talk. And just to give you an indication why I'm so against slug talk, is very simple. If the slug takes the slug talk, it dies, the bird will pick it, bring it to the nest. The young will die, and that finishes the
Yep.
Now while I'm on this side of the garden, as you can see here are onions. These are onion sticks. And what you do is you make your bed. Again, you put manure into the bed first. The more manure, the stronger your onion will be. You keep them about 6 inches apart. They are 5 or 6 inches apart. And the drill is the same all round. And you'll find that in that small space that I have here, I will save those, and I'll have enough onions until this time next year, everything going all right. So that's just how simple it can be. But the most important thing in relation to any kind of gardening is the preparatory work in relation to the ground. It must be well dug. As you can see there, there's no weeds. Everything is silk and clean. And for the same thing, you must keep it like that. Now, before I leave the garden, just a simple thing when it comes to growing your own garden peas is to put a line of mesh straight, and that's about your height as I have it there, and that'll be about nearly what, 2.5 to 3 feet. When you have that done, make sure again, as I said about soil, that it's nicely broken up. You just run your hand along like that, about a little over an inch in depth. And when you have that done, you keep it as close to the wire as possible, the seed. And you take them then, and you just put them in there, that near, look. And once you do that like that along the whole way, don't worry if they look like to be a bit close. They won't let you down. And when you have that done then, it's very simple. All you have to do is to just to throw the clay over them like that. Just barely tap it like that. And important then after that, you keep that moist. In other words, you water it every evening. And if it's going dry, because they will appear within 2 weeks at the most.